questions to ask, right? A campaign with the confidence rising. I told WDF don't switch, good times are coming on even deep diving. Fan cams, reactions, watch along, still the pride of London thriving. The Eagles of South, they flying. Keep your eyes on us, we ain't hiding.
Yo, big up everyone. Welcome to the Fan Calling Show. We're back. And it's been a crazy weekend of football, especially regarding referees and officiating. Absolutely terrible. I can't believe it. I can't believe some of the decisions that were made. They were dreadful. I'm going to just drop the link here for you guys. Some of the decisions were terrible. From offside decisions to saves made in the game, you know, all in all, it's just a really, really terrible afternoon for the referees. And there was a report, I don't know if it was last night or if it was earlier on today, like they were talking about the whole aspect of what do you call it? The PGMOL were like, oh, the refs forgot to draw the lines and stuff. It's mental. It's mental. Welcome, Hazza. How you doing?
Hello, I'm all right, thanks.
Good. Right, we're not going to talk Palace because I think we've had enough of Palace talk. But what did you make of the refereeing decisions in any of the games this weekend?
I think they've been quite strange, to be honest. I think a bit different to the other weeks that we've seen, especially the one in the West Ham Chelsea game where I think Gallagher shot and then I don't know what West Ham player it was, but went right off his hand, so he saved the shot.
Here's the image. Here it is, right here. Yeah. Gallagher's had his shot, and Souček's literally saved it. You know,
like, how is that not a penalty?
Your guess is as good as mine. And you know what? Like, as much as we could obviously have like little biases, like, oh, it was Gallagher, he don't deserve anything, and oh, it's Chelsea, we don't care about them, they spent 600 million stuff. Yeah. At the end of the day, if that happened against us, we will be fuming.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, like if that was us. It's a terrible decision. I believe like there was rumors that Match of the Day, I didn't watch it last night, but Match of the Day was saying, oh, it came off his knee. It came off where?
No, it did not.
It came off where? It's absolutely crazy, you know. Unbelievable decision and such. What do you make of VAR? Do you feel it's the technology is a problem? Do you think the people running VAR is a problem? Like, what do you make of it?
It's a tough question, to be honest. I don't really know because, you know, some decisions I don't agree with and it gets given for whatever, and you know, some other things like, oh, how do I describe this? Like, let's say, yeah, I don't know what I'm saying.
No, that's all good. That's all good. But yeah, you know what? Like, the officiating in this league is so bad.
Yeah,
it
definitely.
is really bad, and it's something that they need to fix up. Like, as a professional institution, as a professional outfit, how are you saying you've forgotten to draw lines? Like, that's your job. You know?
I certainly feel like since VAR's come, it was what, 1920 season?
Yeah,
I think it's first season. There's certainly been a lot less penalties. Because I remember 18-19 season, for example, Milivojevic was our top scorer because of all the penalties.
Yeah, it's a good point, that is. A very, very good point. Let me address some comments. The chat I'm getting onto you, Hazza, by the way. Big up, Brush. Yeah, you can shut your mouth as well. Now, listen, if you've seen a picture of the Saudi goalkeeper, he played against. He's the one that Ronaldo scored 4 against, and Martin saying that he looks like me, pagan. Anyway, little ghost bunda. Behave yourself. Big up, though, Martin. Hope you're well, and I hope you decided that you're going to do the chip challenge at 1K subs. Yeah, don't hide. Richard is one of your students. It isn't, but big up to Harry anyway. But big up to Hazza. He's a top guy. It's a no vibes. Jackie, hope you're doing well. It's not the VAR technology, it's the people looking at the incident. Yes, I agree. I think the technology is good for the game, but we have got very incompetent officials that are looking.
What do you think? What do you think of the Brighton disallowed goal?
It should have stood.
Yeah, I thought
It should have stood. It was a goal. They drew the line on Tompkins, and Gay was standing behind him. Like it's just a terrible decision. Actually,
we were so lucky in that game.
Very fortunate. Very, very fortunate.
How we didn't lose?
It's a very good question. Very good question. But I'm gonna actually show you, like, give a bit of context for those who haven't seen it. Like, they've done it with based on Tompkins' arm, and Gay is literally standing behind him, which is mad. You know, it should have stood. But speaking of VAR, this didn't get checked.
Yeah, I thought that was a red.
You know, now let's have a look at that and compare it to what Mitchell got sent off against Fulham.
Oh, come on, that's the same.
It's literally the same incident. Literally the same incident. And
did he get a yellow card for that though, McAllister?
I believe he did get yellow. Yeah.
Yellow, yeah. But I don't think even VAR checked for a serious foul play.
That's the problem. It's the inconsistency. You know, it's the inconsistency.
Yeah, Mitchell got sent off against Fulham for doing it.
Exactly the thing. Exactly that. So yeah, it is what it is. Go on.
Yeah, I feel like with VAR as well, like you see two challenges from two different players, for example, that are the same, and quite often one gets sent off and one doesn't.
Yeah, the one thing they need to do is first they need to stop slowing it down, because everything looks worse in slow motion. Secondly, they need to make sure they've checked all angles, which they don't do.
Yeah,
you know, it's everything is a complete mess. Jackie says here, apparently there is now dedicated refs who only do VAR, and they still have a weekend like this. It's nonsense. They're trying to make excuses. They're trying to make excuses, you know. Big up CM, my brother. Hope you're doing well. He'll be joining us later for the Super Bowl watch along. Oh, speaking of decisions, I'm glad he's here. We're going to talk about the decisions in your game as well, because it was mad. It was mad. But big up to big up Vibe, say big up Hazard. Rich getting the fresh fade. Wonder when he's going to finish it. Never. Little pagan. Listen, no, I'm not going to buy it. I won't buy it. But one thing I will say though, yeah. T, if you ever meet Martin and you go out for a drink, give him Ray and Nephew.
Oh, okay. Is that what twisted him then? Yeah.
He was twist up before the game.
Oh, wow. You can't even remember it, I'm guessing.
Listen, this fan cam was so funny. And this is it. McAllister got a yellow. It was a red, plus did a retaliation. 100%. It was a red and it wasn't called. T, talk us through your game. The game aspect first, then VAR.
Yeah, and that's how I kind of reacted to it when I first initially, as soon as that final whistle went out. I wasn't thinking about VAR. I was thinking about the game, and I've got to give massive credit to Brentford, man. What a team they are, and what a job that Thomas Frank has done. What a team. Yeah, they are just a very good, well organised team. Vibes. That's man. He's pause. Pause there.
Yeah, the agenda has to run though. Run the agenda.
It's true. Yeah, it's true. Yeah. But see, Vibes is out there doing it for you. He'll bite back for you there, Rich. But yeah, Brentford are a very good team. Got to give credit to them first. Defensively, they made it really difficult for us in that first half. They had the better chances. They should have scored in that first half.
He said he couldn't remember the first 20 minutes of the game.
You see, I'm not surprised. I'm really not. And that's Martin for you. You see, that's what Ray Nephew does, though, Martin. So you're not the first victim. But yeah, they are a difficult team. Rico Henry should have scored, and Ivan Toney in that first half when he crashed the bar should have scored. And we were struggling to deal with them. I thought Saliba, he was struggling aerially, and that was my one concern of Saliba before he came into Arsenal was how he's going to handle the likes of Toney aerially.
Yeah.
He's done so well so far, but
I saw a crazy stat. Was it 0 out of 17 aerial duels or something?
Yeah, it was 13. Yeah. I saw it on Twitter as well,
like
that one. Yeah, it was proven to be 13, but 0 aerial duels. And yeah, that's poor. Essentially from a centre back of his frame.
We've got Brentford next week.
Yeah, they're difficult, man. They're in such good form at the moment, and they're a unit as well. In that second half, we were much better. We dominated a little bit more. Brentford were looking a little bit more lethargic. They still created a couple of chances. Well, one main chance on the counter attack, but we were starting to get in and around them in the wide areas. So I'd say potentially.
But what was the difference in what was for what you could see? What did Arteta do different?
So
how did the balance change?
I think we was getting the ball out wide a little bit more and was pushing them deeper and further back. So, for example, Ben White was making a few more overlaps on Saka on that right side, and Zinchenko was getting out wider, and Martinelli also. They were getting a bit more chalk on their boots and really stretching them because they were very compact. They played like a 5 and then a 4/3 in there, and they were hard to break through the lines. But we pushed them back further. And as the game gets stretched, there are more gaps in between the midfield and the defence as legs begin to tire. So I thought we upped our intensity in our passing. That was the big change that I think we made. And Palace, if they're looking into that next week, is if you can play the ball quickly out wide to your wide players, that's what you should be hoping for. And yeah, I thought we did that. We grabbed our goal. Ball, Saka, wow, what a ball that was with his right foot. And then Trossard, I was saying this on my channel earlier. That's a harder finish than a lot of people give it.
It is difficult, yeah.
You're a forward. I'm sure you've been on the end of some difficult balls in the past where it looks.
Well, pause. Whoa. Yo.
Oh gosh.
No.
I forgot where I am.
The end of no balls.
Some difficult crosses in the past. Okay. So yeah. So I understand. So I think it's harder to finish them ones on his weaker foot. So I think he did really well. And then, of course, the controversy. Initially, before I get into it, I thought the offside was on the Ethan Pinnock, and that's why he spent so long. And I thought, he's because the blockers are now offside. They weren't before, but they are now, and the referees have made a point of that. And it's contentious whether he's getting involved or not. I think it's offside, but it's one of them ones. You win some, you lose some, but then not. But to forget to draw the line for the actual offside part is a joke. So this was the one that I thought initially, okay, he's a blocker. He's offside, Ethan Pinnock there, as you see that number 5. And that's where it's contentious. But the one for the Norgard, have you got that one here, bro? The Norgard one?
No, I haven't seen it. No.
Oh, my days. That's the one. That's the issue. And that's the decision that they've apologized for.
Right.
What was you going to say, bro?
No, it's just like I said, these sort of like instances cost you points, which obviously effectively cost you championships. Obviously you're going through every team has a blip. Like this is kind of your blip at the moment, and obviously you've got is it City? It's not twice in a row, is it? But you've got them on Wednesday.
And we've got City Wednesday, and Aston Villa Saturday, which is quite a short turnaround after that City game. But I think you are right, man. This game could cost us because I like to think of it in the American sports way, very topical as we've got the Super Bowl later on. It's more to do with games, right? And so they do things like in terms of how many games you win and how many games you lose or not win in terms of football is we've now dropped a game on City where if we were 5 points ahead of them, which we should be going into this game, that City have to gain 2 games worth on us and have to win 2 more games than us. Whereas now it's 1. So that's essentially 2 of the City games. So City win 1. If they win on Wednesday, they're top of the league. I know we've still got a game in hand and whatnot, but points on the board, what matters. We had games in hand last season when we were fighting for top 4. That didn't matter, essentially, because we couldn't win them. So that is the big issue that we're facing right now. In the Premier League, for Arsenal to drop a game, not because of a subjective decision where we can debate whether this or that, from someone forgetting to draw a line is a joke. And this is where you have to take it out of their hands now. How would you discipline your kids not even kids, if you're a manager, if you're a teacher, if you're a manager at any sort of work or any sort of job, and somebody lets you down and they repeatedly do so, you have to move. You take the responsibility, but you have to take that responsibility away from them and out of their hands. You don't let them keep making the same mistakes over and over again. Lee Mason, who was the same official that was the official of the Newcastle versus Palace game earlier this season, and you guys know what
made a mistake.
And but they're allowed to keep making it. That's the issue. If they're allowed to keep doing it, and he'll get or maybe he might get an in-house fine. That will probably go to
one championship weekend.
Yeah, a championship weekend, and then which they probably like anyway because they're out of the limelight and they still get paid. And he'll be back again next week, or in the VAR room, or officiating on the sidelines. So, bro, it's ruining our league, and it's ruining the spectacle that we have here, because Brentford, we're an excellent side. You've got a lot more tight games now, games that are based on these sort of decisions where, Southampton can go to Manchester City and win. Do you know what I'm saying? And they're rock bottom of the league. We played Southampton, drew 1-1, and more poor officiating there. But this is the quality, this is the product that we have. And for it to depend upon their stupidity and their errors is taken away from the beautiful game.
Yeah, big up JC. Hazard, just quickly, do you think Arsenal can still hold out and win this league?
I would say 100%.
Cool. There you go. You got some support from the Palace side there. T.
We give you Lukonga for that.
He needs to stop playing more games, to be honest. We've ranted about that in the last. Before we come to you, JC, about obviously the refereeing decisions. My brother, they're asking for another set of bars. They're saying that the intro song's too short. Like,
need a second verse.
Yes. Fun is saying that he can't. He's getting into his groove and then it stops. It's like, and I think he's chucked in a few ideas as well and stuff. Brandon's owners don't invest. The Corey's a pest. Mess with Zaha and get one in the chest. Simon Jordan suits our double brace. That's quite. To be fair, you've done that quite quickly as well. So, fair play to you, Fonda. Fair play to you. Hasn't got paid by Tariq to say that.
I was just saying, I'm an Arsenal fan, not City, so I don't do brown envelopes.
We're going to discuss that, by the way. I don't think we've mentioned it at all, actually. No, we've not mentioned it at all. JC, before you came and same with you two, we spoke about the Chelsea incident.
Mm-hmm.
What's your thoughts on it, and how great a save was that by Souček?
What was he? Was it in the FA Cup? It was Cardiff against someone. The actual player went for a proper dive and got sent off for it. It was the exact same thing. But all I've got to say to you Chelsea fans, if any of you are watching, you can't complain. You can't say nothing. Remember what you did against us. Remember what Thiago Silva did against us, and it wasn't even. I don't even remember it was a card. That should have been a straight red. Ayew was through. Thiago Silva went no, pushed the ball away from him. I think he held Ayew's ankle, and Ayew fell to the floor. That's a red card if I've ever seen it. He's a last defender as well. And you're telling me about big team bias. Look at you, man. That's a red card. Chelsea, you cannot complain. If anything, I'm happy for West Ham. Oh, I'm so happy for West Ham. That was a great save. And he didn't get sent off for it. So, mate, Souček, you get my applause. 100%. Chelsea, pipe down. You don't deserve nothing. You got too much money for cents.
Hey, but this is it, man. Like the fact that we can go back to it, and JC's there, and he's brought up a brilliant point. I forgot about that, and you can always do that. Like how I'm complaining as an Arsenal fan right now, there'll be Liverpool fans that'll be saying, "Oh well, VAR wasn't working on your side." So it just shows really that it shouldn't be. The game shouldn't be done like this. That save is brilliant, and I can't believe that the referee is not seeing that. Why is a man dropping to the floor? Yeah, pause. And handling the ball. Pause again. So like, what's that makes no sense. It's not a slide tackle where it's hit his hand. He just dropped to the ground with his hands falling first. It was.
Yeah, I'll just say that if any of you forgotten what the incident looked like, this looks a lot worse than Souček's one. Yeah, remember this. That is a. Yeah. It's not good. It's not good.
Crazy, absolutely crazy. What other incidents were there? So we've tweet needs to be stopped. Never mind, paused.
yeah.
Right.
Yeah,
So
we've got them on.
Yeah. It was offside, wasn't it?
It should have been the Harvey Barnes. Yeah,
Harvey Barnes one. Yeah.
They ruled that out, but the lines were drawn wrong there as well.
The red line was thick. It just looks wrong.
Yeah, it does, because you see Ben Davis's head is over the line as well. So I'm not. It doesn't make sense. And then you can even see like Eric Dyer's shoulder and whatnot. They how they're drawing. Like this is why these lines were always wrong anyway from when we first saw them, when they were first brought into the Premier League, because they're not conclusive. You can't make a decision off of them. Like for one, the angles are wrong. You need something that will be able to change the angle of it. That's why they
check this out. They complained about the Qatar World Cup and look at how they use technology to show an offside. That was the technology they had for it was perfect.
Exactly.
Minus the Japan goal, which is still a bit controversial, but even then they used it with that. To be fair, I think.
But it was right in the end because they were able to use another angle to see where the ball was.
That's a good point.
So even then, we're
so far behind with technology. It's unreal.
It's our own fault though, Rich, because of the arrogance from these referees. If you remember when VAR was first brought in, before that, the year before, they said we don't want to bring it in. We don't need VAR. That was the officials. That was the line coming from them. We're not bringing it in because everyone else is. We'll bring it in when we feel like we need to. And that's what they've done with this the AI thing. They had an opportunity to bring it in for the second half of the season, but they said no, we don't need that. We'll stick with our thing. And look what it's doing now.
Let me just address a few more comments. So CM said, I would implement a clear mistake system. One clear mistake leads to a warning. Second clear mistake leads to a fine. Third leads to a week suspension.
I think it should be
3 mistakes is a lot, though. You know?
It should be harsher than that. Like genuinely, I think that there's a reason why there was no English refs and no English VARs at the World Cup. That is a clear sign.
Yeah.
The clearest sign you can be that it just shows that our referees are whack. Yeah,
it's so bad.
And also, why does the Premier League employ these English refs? Obviously, if you're English, you're going to have some sort of feeling to Premier League clubs. Even if you're officiating Brighton versus Palace, let's say, and you're an Arsenal fan. Yeah. You're going to think, I'm an Arsenal fan, Brighton versus Palace, Brighton are higher up in the Premier League. Oh, I'm going to bias to Palace, you know.
Patrick Vieira's ex-Arsenal legend.
Give Palace the upside just because it will help Arsenal out. Why don't we do something like what La Liga do? I don't think they have any Spanish refs. I think they've got like mostly Italian and Dutch and people like that. Why don't we just get other nationality of people to come in, because they've probably got less chance of supporting a Premier League team.
Yeah.
Like,
do you know what, JC?
It makes sense. It's less biased.
Even taking away like the fan element of it, you just got to look at it. The brother could live closer to Palace fans. Oh, I'm a bit more worried now about going saying.
Sorry, T. I've got to give this guy an entrance. I've got to give him an entrance. How do they do it in thingy?
No.
Weigh in. What's it? £250. from
He's a
I don't know,
boy.
Sad.
from Texas. Texas. I don't know where you. Manchester.
That's John Cena.
Did he kill John Cena?
Okay,
I know, right?
Here's the thing. Apologies, technology issues, VAR, my song. We don't even have screens at Old Trafford.
It's true.
So,
Sort out your technology for later on. You're hosting the Super Bowl.
well, yeah, that is true. That is true. But this is in America. I don't know about that.
Did United have any dodgy decisions today?
No, not for once.
Not for what? Sir, I will have you know that the referees.
Look at this.
Peter,
I'm not having the referees hate you. Not at all. I'm not having that.
Mine is violated. Oh, big up G Staffy. It's been a while. Hope you're doing well. Hope studies are going well. Big up, big up, big up. Obviously sending love to T as well and such. What did you make of the VAR, the officiating this weekend, Santi?
well, I believe that VAR it still has a long way to go. Listen. That's okay. When the least, what? Why am I getting cooked in here? What is going on? Also, the stats are wrong. I'm not.
Waste Mysterio.
No. Man, pushing.
You get that. You get it. Yeah.
Yo, this ain't Eagle Eye. This Eagle Eye get roasted, bro.
Hey, you need
What is this?
you need that. You need that
Baby,
meme.
what
I'm
time
getting
is that?
cooked.
Listen.
Let him cook now.
27 minutes. We need to timestamp that. Santi's getting cooked.
Hold
Let
up.
him-
Hold up. Let him cook.
Let him cook now.
Yeah.
Wait, no. He said, no. This is wrong. This is so wrong. I understand. Short guy maybe, but 250. Do you realize how much 250 would look on me? Oh, he said the time is down. Oh. The time is down.
I need a moment. Sorry, Machukushina. Please continue.
It looks like a Manchakushina is at a loss for words, right? But one thing I will say is that United, we got 1 out of 2 games against Leeds. That was not what we expected, not what we wanted, but we go again. Now, as far as BAR, I don't know what BAR stands for you guys, but that sounds like burrito. And that is a good thing to me.
Stands for what?
Burrito.
Oh gosh.
Verde. Very comfortable. This is wrong. This is wrong.
Mm-mm.
No. You know what? I will be back next week.
No, we need you.
Don't go.
Talk about Man United. Talk about anything Man United.
Anything. Casemiro, we miss you.
Hold up. Cook now.
Oh, man. If you have to go, man, let everyone know where you're going to be at 11:15.
Look, I will be around. We are doing World Cup. We shall be watching football, but the throwing kind, I don't know what they name it. Football, there's no foot, and it's an egg. I don't know.
Indeed. Alive, Paul.
Getting cooked by Manj, you know. And then Martin, Mr. Ghost Bunda over there. How was your team today? Let's hear it.
Oh, sorry, I forgot Hazard was still at the back. Sorry, Hazard. Hazard beat the Manchukushina.
No.
Hazard was like, I don't want to meet Manjakushina.
He said, no, he said, I'd rather be like CM.
Oh, man, but yeah. Manchukushina. Maybe not wear that mask later.
Maybe I will have my cousin join the stream, not myself. You guys have a great day, and the time is now.
Big up.
Big up, man.
It's too funny.
Oh,
man. Oh, big up the chat. Smash the like button. Hazard, don't worry, it happens to all of us, to be fair. It happens to all of us. I don't know. Is there anything else that was impressive? Oh my gosh, Lamina's sending off. Sorry, I nearly forgot to discuss it. Lamina's sending off was
Why
probably
did he get
the
sent off?
because he was the third player. Because he was the third player to run to the referee.
And you know, I don't know if Ed's still in the chat. Big up to Ed. Like, I would love to hear Ed's viewpoint on this, actually.
Pathetic. And do you know what? It would have been more interesting. Of course, they won the game. It would have been more interesting to hear it if they didn't, because then you'd feel a little bit more aggrieved by it. But did you see Ruben Neves' interview after the game?
No, I haven't seen it. What did he say?
So the interviewer said, "Oh, well, what was the reason?" He's like, "Oh, you want to know the reason? You want to know the reason why?" And it was because he said because he was the third player that came up to him. He says, "Not me, me and Zhao. We should have got a yellow card if he's booking us for that reason. But for Lamina, he was like he wasn't happy. It's a joke. That's stupid though, that rule, because you saw it. Did you watch the Man City game? And then Ruben Diaz, he didn't even, I don't think he even said anything. He just came over, and then the referee just went, "Oh, let's just give you a yellow card," just randomly out of nowhere. Like, is
that a new rule? Because if so, Zaha's done out here.
yeah, for real. I'm sorry, Bruno Fernandes should be able to get a red card every week. Like, I can't stand the way he keeps doing it. But yeah, like it must be a new rule because Arsenal got the FA charge for surrounding the referee, asking for a handball a couple of times. But if they are going to do it, once again, just be consistent with it, man. Like, just make sure you do it to every single time. If there's three players, if the third player that comes, or book one of them, you should really book the first player, shouldn't you? In that scenario, it should be the first player, not the third one. Stupid rule, really. But hey, Nathan Jones, he lasted a little bit longer than the board, didn't he?
I think one thing that reminded me of was how comes Palace and Man United got fined because Man United picked a fight with Schlupp? Like, I don't get it. Like, why did we get fined? Especially after Casemiro choked out Hughes for like 7 seconds. It don't make no sense. And some Man United fans are telling me, "Oh, he wasn't choking him; he just had his hands around his shoulders." Are you sure?
I couldn't believe it when I heard that. They said that's not a red card. I'm like, what? If I put not one hand, 2 hands around someone's neck.
And you moved Hughes as well, remember?
Yeah. Just because he gave him a little tap on the back afterwards, because he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was like, oh crap, what have I just done? Type of thing. So he tried to play it off. Yeah, jolting. The FA are a mess though.
They are a mess. Big up our brother Guna Lee. Listen, obviously T, Guna, Cecil. That's going to be the panel for the Arsenal preview coming up in a month's time or so and stuff. So elite panelists there. Both me and JC will be at Emirates as well and stuff. So looking forward to that one. Not expecting anything from the game though. Not expecting anything. If we can get a draw from that game, we'll be happy.
I don't know, man. Palace always do a job at the Emirates, and you saw Everton. No matter how bad they were, they always do a job against us too, man. So I'm worried. When's that time we beat you at the Emirates?
Last season, no?
We didn't
beat you too.
I know we celebrated like it was a win, but we didn't win. It's been a while.
Because the thing is, it took us absolutely ages to get any win or any point against Arsenal away, even at the Emirates and at Highbury. We hardly ever got any points out of you. But then we went through a few years of a win, a draw, and a win again. I reckon it's like 3 years, 3 or 4 years.
I don't think we beat you since Wenger. Emery didn't beat you.
Wow.
Yeah. I think he did.
No,
but no, that was at home.
Unless Arteta's done it, I don't think he has.
Hazard, you were saying?
I don't think we've actually lost at the Emirates for a while. I actually think the last time it was, and I know it was ages ago, but do you remember the 4-1 defeat in 2018?
Yes, that was the last time. You are correct.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right, Hazard. That's the last time we beat.
Was Wenger manager?
Yeah, Wenger was the manager then.
So yeah, since then it's been. Normally, Arsenal Palace is drawing at the Emirates.
5 years.
Wow.
And it's over 5 years because that was in January as well. Yeah. Wow.
No, facts. T, question. It's Wednesday's game of title decider.
I mean, Manchakushina, in terms of the content creators, yes, it is. But really, I don't think it is because if we win against Man City on Wednesday, we'll feel like it is. We'll feel like, yes, it's in our hands. But then we draw to Aston Villa or lose on Saturday, then it's right back in the title race again. So if you're an Arsenal fan content creator, yes, it is. Or a Man City content creator, yes, it is a title decider because they obviously do your channels so well. But really, this is a long season, man. The one when we play them at the Etihad, because it's much closer towards the end of the season, that one's a title decider. And I think that one, they'll still be within touching distance, or either side, whoever's top of the league at that point.
Cool. Just some breaking news for any Ghanaians out there. Chris Hughton has officially been announced as the new Ghana manager. So, I mean, we saw it coming anyway, but it's taken them so long to announce it.
Brexit football's coming.
I just more so want him to just get the right players, and that's all I care about. Yeah, and hopefully the Benny Pelly tax stops, man, because the IU brothers just need to not be there.
To be fair, that kind of football helps. It works in internationals, though, doesn't it? Really, as long as you got a manager that picks the right players, I guess.
Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah, our structure's improving. It's just
Sulemana. He had a good game yesterday for Palace. I mean, not Palace, for Southampton. Yeah,
I wish for Palace.
I wish it
was. yeah. I know, man. But now he looked sharp. He did look lively and energetic. So it's about staying fit for him.
Just on the Palace front, T, as an outsider looking in, what do you think is going wrong this year?
I think, as I kind of spoke to you a little bit before, but I think it's more to do with the players that you've got now isn't suiting the style of what Vieira wants to do. And I think he's being quite stubborn in that fact, where I don't blame him, because if he's going to really get his players and his style across to the board and to the club, he's going to have to do this in the long term. So the likes that your fullbacks, for example, they don't play the way that Vieira wants to do. And I feel like they get exposed in possession. And Brighton, because they've got a team that's well structured. I mean, their whole recruitment staff they've built this for a while. In all fairness to them, I think it is hard for you to play the games how you would want them, how you'd want to do. Because like, think of how Decore is in midfields compared to, you know, a Klein or who's playing at fullback for you yesterday? Was it Klein?
Yeah.
And Mitchell. Like, I do like Mitchell. I think he's a good 1v1 defender. But in a progressive team, I'm not too sure if it'll work out in the long term. Unless you have a right back that's really, really good at that. So you can have him to kind of balance out that left side. But being as you have two fullbacks, and bearing in mind, fullbacks it tend to be the position in the Premier League that get the most touches on the ball and the most control. I think you need better players in those areas. And your front and your forward man, I'm sorry, I don't think Edouard's it. You know, I think he runs a little hot and cold too much in a Palace shirt, where one moment he'll do something that's sublime, and then the next moment he can't hold up a 5-yard pass with a centre back near him. I think you need someone who's a better focal point in and around there. But those are the two big areas that I see. And in the Premier League, 3 positions that aren't quite at the level, that's too much. That's too much to handle against well-organised teams and proper teams like Brighton.
Yeah. You're right. Let's see. Let's wrap it up. Obviously, T, I know your viewpoints on this. You winning the league?
My heart says yes. My head says we'll see.
JC's winning the league.
Let me have a look. They're only 3 points behind, but Arsenal have a game in hand. Who is your game in hand?
Everton at home.
I wouldn't want to play them under Dyche these days. It's a tough one. I think it would be good to see Arsenal win it because it's just been a City whitewash for how long. But I don't know. I think if City could sort out their defence, because they're scoring goals for Haaland's just scoring goals for fun. I reckon if they can sort their defence out, then it's Man City's to win. But
that defence ain't looking good though, bro. That defence looked poor today as well.
Because even when we look at it, I know that they only won because they beat Palace because Haaland scored a hat trick because we were 2-0 up at half time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I reckon Arsenal will do it, providing they don't get any injuries. Because I think if they get an injury to Xhaka, for example, I think they're finished. I think their title runs over. So I think he's very pivotal in your team right now. I reckon if Xhaka's injured, or even if Nketiah is injured, as well as Jesus, she'll be finished.
Who's winning the league?
I still think it's a tough one. I think the game on Wednesday will nearly tell us who will do it, but I will say Arsenal will scrape it.
Yeah, T, I think it's your year this year, man.
Yeah. What makes you think that, bro?
City are just not looking convincing. They're in and around. I think if you just navigate this little blip that you're over, if you can get over that, then I think you'll be fine. I think you'll be fine and such. Just a few more comments before the tougher question of who's going down. I'll go with you as a first, but I'll give you some time to think about it. Big up Luca. I hope you're doing well, guys. Make sure you give Luca a subscribe, hit the like button on his streams. Leave a comment. I need to leave some more comments on his streams as well. He's always supportive, to be fair. So big up Luca. I hope you're well. Man just said that I've said they win since October, so I'm assuming he's meaning Arsenal. City are targeting the Champions League more and such. Relegation. Hazard.
That's hard. I would say
It is hard, isn't it?
I'm going to say Southampton, Bournemouth, and so first of all Everton. But now they've got Dyche, I think they might stay up again. I'm going to say probably not, but I'm going to say Leeds.
Ooh.
because they're near the bottom. They are near the bottom, but I can't see Everton. I can't really see Everton. I can't really see Everton, West Ham, Wolves, none of them going down. To be honest.
JC.
I think I agree with Hazzy, you know. Southampton, Bournemouth and Leeds. I think Leeds, they've invested very heavily into Americans and now they've gotten rid of their American manager and they've spent a lot of money for Jesse Marsh as well because Weston McKennie weren't cheap. Adams ain't cheap. And I'm sure they were playing for him because of that American connection. I'm not saying that any manager that they get in that isn't American isn't going to get a tune out of them, but that's probably not the reason why they went there in the first place. So they're probably not in the right frame of mind. Because bear in mind, they signed in January and we're still early February. So imagine making that. So, for example, McKennie lived in Italy. To make that big trip over to England to play under one guy and then for him to get sacked next week is gonna hurt your confidence a bit when looking at playing for Leeds right now. But I do think they've got the quality to get out of there. But I don't see. Because the thing is, I don't see West Ham going. I don't see Wolves going. I think the recent form, I don't see Forest going because they've just bought too many good players, haven't they? Don't see Leicester going now. They're just on the way up. Then you got us, and we are just on the way down. So I'm not going to say that we're going, but I reckon that Leeds is probably the third one I would choose.
T?
Do you know what? Southampton, I think they're the nailed one. But even then, if they hire a manager that can do the job right, I think everyone was saying that Southampton will go down because of Nathan Jones, but he's been sacked now. But I'm still going to go with them. Bournemouth, they look very good against Newcastle yesterday, man. And now they've got the key players returning, like a Marcus Tavernier, who was very good for them in there when they went on that run of games, when they were like 10th in the Prem. That could change. Everton, of course, they look good. It's hard, man. So basically, teams from 20th to Palace, I'd say, are in there. The only reason Palace are there is because of the run of form that you're currently in. If you guys need to pick up a good, like in the next 5 games, 2 wins minimum. 2 wins, I think. It's very tight down there. I'm going to go for Southampton. I'm going to go Bournemouth and West Ham.
I'm going Southampton, Bournemouth, and Everton. I think the new manager bounce will fade out.
Yeah, I can see that, bro. I think you're a brave man to say it now because they've just beat Arsenal, but I think you could be spot on.
Yeah, I mean they've had problems. They're just as bad as us with regards to scoring.
It's now injured again.
Yeah, I think that's the biggest. Defensively, I think they'll do well. Like they won't concede many and stuff. I feel like their centre backs, especially under Dash, they will play a big part. But it's just whether or not they score. I don't know.
Wait and see, man.
Sorry, I did say.
Sorry, can I just say? Sorry, I just want to know does anyone think that Everton will beat Liverpool tomorrow?
No.
I say no, but then Liverpool have been bad.
They
Where
really
are
have.
they? The 10th.
It's at Anfield, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think that might just see them over the line.
I think he's got to draw it and all over it. I can't see Everton scoring enough goals to win, really. Yeah. I think they need to score 2.
But in Liverpool, like no Van Dijk, I think Konate is injured as well. Joe Gomez and who else is at the back line?
Matip. Shocking.
Yeah, they've been bad.
Yeah. I think Van Dijk's back now. Van Dijk is. He's back.
Don't tell me that because we're playing them soon.
Yeah, but they weren't good with Van Dijk anyway.
No, but
Van Dijk shook of Pickford, didn't he?
Yeah, true.
But I'd rather it be a defense of like Joe Gomez and Matip than Matip and Van Dijk.
Yeah, oh yeah, of course.
Remember, we can't score. We need all the help we can get.
Will Zaha be back soon? Because he's been back in training and that. He's been on the boxing and that.
Yeah, he's on the boxing. We have not. I even think that might be too early.
Put it this way, he is a superhuman when it comes to recovering quick.
It's stupid.
But
yeah.
I don't think he's going to recover that quick.
Yeah.
But I reckon that we might have Anderson back by then, though, which is a big plus.
That would be a big help, yeah. 100%. All right, last question, I promise. All right, we're not going to delve into Man City and what they've done, but what do you think the sanctions should be for them, whether this season or next season?
If they have done it, it's got to be relegation, has to be. If you're not even a relegation into the thingy, into the championship, get them down to they'd have to do it from the conference or from a semi-professional standpoint. They'll be fine if they do it. Look at Rangers, right? Rangers were able to come back, but it's just to set a precedent to the rest of the league, because if that happens to other teams, I don't think they'll be able to bounce back as quickly. And if you want people to take you seriously, points deduction ain't going to do it. It's not going to suffice, because they'll just, we'll take that hit. Imagine if you're breaking financial sanctions for a point deduction, you take a hit on one season so that you can able to get the best players in for the next. Do you know what I mean? So, relegation, it has to be. And I think, City fans would enjoy it though anyway.
What do you think they will get though?
Sadly, points deduction, which I don't think is enough.
This season or next?
If it does get resolved by then, I don't think it'll be this season, next season, or maybe the season after.
Cool. JC?
I think that, as T said, they need to be made an example of, so that they deter this sort of behaviour in the future. But in my opinion, I wouldn't take away their titles, because you can't take away that Aguero moment. You can't take away like the moments that Man City have made, their leagues that they've won. It's in Premier League history, and I don't think you can take that away, like their cups and stuff like that. Like, well, for example, I don't think I'd want to see Watford have a FA Cup trophy and us not have an FA Cup trophy if it means that. just on a personal petty way. But I think that they're going to get a fine and a points deduction, and the fine will be like, okay, here you go, here's £20 million, it's fine. And the point deduction, it happened to Juve, where Juve, they still finished top half. I think relegation to the Championship is a bit meaningless as well, because it really is just, they'll spend a season down there, they'll keep all their players, and they'll come back up and they'll win the league probably when they come back up the year after. But I don't know. There's nothing you can really do to stop it, because there's just too much money in that club. So whatever you do, they're just going to get paid out of it again, aren't they? But I think relegation and, I don't know, maybe a much stricter rule on FFP from now. Take away that spreading your cost over the span of the contract. It just needs to be however much that player's worth, even if you pay it in installments, that whole amount of money needs to drop into that one transfer budget, into that one transfer window. It can't be spread out, I think. And I think it needs to be something like you can only pay out what you get in, or double it, or something like that. It can't be like what Chelsea's done. Chelsea paid, I think they spent more than La Liga, Bundesliga, and the Dutch league all combined. You're thinking, how is that possible in January as well?
It's mad. Yeah, it's mad.
And they're still ninth.
Hazza, what should happen to City?
And no European football.
Yeah, for a while.
For like 2 or 3 years minimum.
You're on it there. Spot on.
It's a really tough one, because do you take away, all those, for example, those Carabao Cups that Man City have won? I don't think you would do that. I think, it will probably be deducting points. That's probably what it will be. But I think they should be relegated to the lower league, if not a couple more lower divisions. If it's true, what we've heard.
I personally think they should be relegated myself. I think because this is the second time they've been brought up on this. you know, and they've obviously been doing things like backhand payments and so on and so forth, you know, to be able to try and get away with it. And I think they should get relegated to League Two, similar to like what Juventus had to deal with and stuff with their bribery sort of stuff. But what's going to happen is that they'll get a -15 or something next season or the season after, and they will still survive because they're that good. You know, it's not like a Derby County who have like that got that -15 with no money and they struggled. You know what I mean? Like, so yeah, that's an unfortunate thing. But I do think they need to be banned from all European competition as well. 100%. 100%.
For sure.
But yeah. Guys, we'll leave it there, man. We'll leave it there. Hazard, thank you so much for coming on, by the way.
Yeah, thank you for having me on.
Yeah, it's all good. Very logical as well. Good footballing knowledge. And you definitely made a few fans out there and such. Big up JB Phillips. Oh, you're back. I thought you disappeared, to be fair. But I hope you're doing well. Hope your kids are well as well. Because I know it's been a tricky year for you on that front as well. So it's good to see you. Hope the family's doing well, my guy, and such. And all the best for overseas for tomorrow's game. JC, you know, it's there. Yeah, you're an expert at it now. I don't even need to say that. Yo, people, we need to get this guy to 1K, you know. Like, we need to get this guy to 1K. His knowledge, his output, his support, everything. It's
Rich,
legit.
I can't lie to you. Yeah, you look like the one that can't point now because T got it first time, and you've been fumbling it the last couple of times. Let's put that to the test. Where is it, Rich?
It's on the bottom left-hand corner.
Oh, go on, give us a point.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to get this wrong. All right, hold on. There.
Yeah.
I used my TV as a guide. So I know the TV's over there, innit?
You were thinking, it's my TV. It's over there, ready?
But I tell you, even promote your channel.
Oh yeah, so to report people, I will be doing like a big preview for tomorrow's show for the Arsenal Man City game. So if you want to hear an Arsenal fan's perspective, and I think Ed will be joining me for that one, so a neutral as well, as neutral as he can be, because you know he's my brother at the end of the day. So,
but yeah, listen, 11:15, we are back. I need to have a power nap. It is Super Bowl. It's Super Bowl 52, if memory serves me right. Or was it 53?
I think so. Round about your age, anyway. You know.
I can't even sing in you because you've got. Oh gosh! At least I'm not the one that's always regularly needing haircuts to look young. Behave yourself.
I'm staying out of it.
JC didn't even want to laugh. He's like,
Super Bowl 57. So,
I know nothing about American football, so count me out.
But yeah, there's probably going to be a massive paddock. T, you're going to be there.
Yeah, I'll be there.
CM, Brush, Realist might be there. Ferbs, Chino, Vibes. It's going to be crazy.
Hey, Rich, as Pep says, I will not move from this seat.
I'll be on the sofa. You know? And I'm going to have to buy my snacks as well because I ain't falling asleep either. And stuff. So yeah, join us. That's going to be. Oh, and Roland as well. Roland will be there. It'll be streaming on 3 channels at the same time. Pros Only Sports, the man Chakushina, so you can come and give him some more slander about his mask, and obviously here Eagle Eye Football stuff. So yeah, but yeah, other than that, people, JC, I'm going to leave you to do the outro bit because I'm always rubbish at it.
Is there a different outro for Get Amped? I haven't done this.
I've just been using the high one.
People, I'm piecing you, by the way, not doing this Marcus Rashford celebration.
Stop, he stole it from Rivers. You heard it here first.